On the heels of the worst arcade games I've ever dropped a quarter into, today I'm going to flip the script and dive into my 10 favorite arcade games that I've ever dropped a quarter into. This is going to be a pretty standard list. You can probably guess the majority of the titles, although I may not necessarily present them in the order you expect. I might even surprise you with one or two of my choices. Kicking things off at number 10 is the 1983 release by Atari, Star Wars. This one is probably a surprise to many of you, and some may think it's too high on the list. However, for me, this game was pure perfection when it came to a licensed arcade title. The cockpit cabinet was amazing with some of the best sound ever. The vector graphics were beautiful and the gameplay was smooth and simple. Those are the things I want in an arcade game, and the reason this is in my top 10.
Luke, trust me.
Yahoo! You're all clear, kid!
Frogger, the 1981 release by Sega, comes in at number 9 on my list. I love the simplicity of Frogger. There's nothing more to it than getting across the road and the river to your home. The music is incredibly catchy. I love the graphics, and for me, the game just never gets old. Simple, fun, and addictive. What more do you need? Number 8 on my list belongs to another vector game, which I have a soft spot for. There's something about vector graphics that I just find visually appealing, and this was one of the first color vector games. Tempest was released by Atari in 1981, and in my opinion, it was the first video game to truly intimidate me. When you dropped a quarter into Tempest, you knew it was eventually going to kick your ass. The gameplay was fast and the enemies were unrelenting. It was perfect. At number 7 is Nintendo's 1982 sequel, Donkey Kong Jr. I love this game, but I was never as good at it as I was at Donkey Kong. I think it's much more difficult than its predecessors. Others would disagree with me. Admittedly, I didn't play it as much, and I never really took the time to learn the enemy behavior. Regardless, in typical Nintendo fashion, it's visually stunning and the sound design is phenomenal. My final vector game checks in at number 6, Atari's 1979 classic, Asteroids. Again, not an overly complex game, but one that was simple enough to keep you coming back for more. The graphics weren't fancy, but the gameplay was addictive and compelling. There were several strategies you could use. I was always more of a sit-in-the-middle guy and shoot, only moving when absolutely necessary. The game doesn't have a traditional sound chip, but it delivers some of the most iconic sounds in gaming. That heartbeat sound that quickens as the level progresses is as good as it gets. Number 5 will probably be my biggest surprise, a game many of you might not agree with. Konami's 1983 classic Track and Field, also known as Hyper Olympic. I was a freshman in high school when this game came out, and our Friday and Saturday night hangout was the local arcade. This was one of the first games that let you and 3 friends compete directly against each other, and the line of quarters along the cabinet to reserve your spot was often 15 to 20 deep. We used combs, pencils, anything we could to press the buttons faster than our buddies. But no matter how fast you ran, except in the 100-meter dash, you still had to jump at the right time and hit the correct angle. The game was a blast with friends and still is to this day.
The distance, 72.09 meters.
On your mark. Get set.
The time, 13.40 seconds. The distance, 84.00 meters. 2.41 meters.
Pac-Man lands at number 4 on my list. Obviously, number 1 when it comes to iconic arcade characters, but the game itself lands a bit lower for me. It's brilliant and completely changed the arcade landscape. I never did memorize the patterns, but I got pretty good at it. I was always more focused on clearing levels than chasing ghosts for high scores. The main drawback for me was the repetition. It's always the same maze, the same ghosts, with only speed, the ghost patterns or behaviors, and bonus values changing. That's not a knock on its cultural significance, it's just why it's not my number 1. number 3 is Namco Midway's 1981 classic Galaga. In my opinion, it's the perfect fixed shooter. It strikes just the right balance between difficulty and familiarity. You can get really good at it, but it will still challenge you. The ability to have your ship captured and then strategically rescue it for double firepower adds a unique twist. And of course, there was nothing more frustrating than accidentally shooting your own captured fighter. A true classic that I still love playing today. Miss Pac-Man sits firmly at number 2 on my list. It takes the iconic gameplay of Pac-Man, refines it, and somehow makes it even better. The ghost behavior is less predictable, there are multiple mazes that change as you progress, and many levels feature more than one escape tunnel. The bonus fruits move through the maze instead of just appearing in the center, and the sound design is improved across the board. How do you make a classic better? You make Miss Pac-Man. And finally, my number 1 arcade game of all time, Donkey Kong. To be honest, it's the only arcade game I'm actually good at, so maybe that plays a role. But beyond that, its cultural impact is massive, arguably on par with or even greater than Pac-Man. This was the world's introduction to Mario, known then as Jumpman, and Donkey Kong, who I believe is now recognized as Cranky Kong in the series lineage. The game features the perfect blend of difficulty and level variety, making it one I've come back to again and again, and I'm still playing it to this day. So that's it. My top 10 arcade games, mostly from the golden era of arcade gaming. Your list might look completely different, and that's the beauty of gaming. We don't have to agree. Got a game you think belongs in the top 10? Drop a comment and let me know. Honestly, I could have made an unranked list of 50 of my favorites, but the ranking of those would be nearly impossible. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time. Until then, happy gaming. Peace.